The mist hung heavy over Linny Fanfash, clinging to the ancient oaks like spectral moss. 7-year-old Mackie, a bundle of boundless Welsh energy, skipped ahead, his bright yellow wellies sinking slightly into the dew-kissed grass. Behind him, Michael, his grandpa, chuckled, a warm, gravelly sound that always made Mackie feel safe. Michael wasn't like other grandpas. He had a glint in his eye that spoke of adventures untold and a wisdom that felt as old as the hills themselves. "Careful now, boyo," Michael called, his voice a low rumble. "Don't want to disturb her." He nodded towards the shimmering grey expanse of the lake. Mackie, already an expert on his grandpa's quirks, knew exactly who her was. The Lini Fan Fash beast, a creature of local legend, half Nessie, half dragon, and entirely Michael's invention, or so Mackie had always believed. "Is she awake, Grandpa?" Mackie whispered, his eyes wide with mock terror, though a thrill of genuine excitement ran through him. Michael lowered his voice conspiratorially. "Aye, she'll be stirring, especially after the last full moon. You see, Mackie, she follows a pattern, a very precise one. Every 3 full moons, she comes to the surface at precisely 3 a.m. Then, on the following new moon, she hunts. But not just anywhere, mind. Only where the ancient stones align with the North Star, and only if there's a whisper of a westerly wind." Mackie listened, fascinated as always, even if he didn't understand half of it. Michael's expositions were always wonderfully complex, filled with seemingly random details. "And what's she scared of today, Grandpa?" "Ah, now that's the rub," Michael mused, stroking his chin. "Last week it was the sound of a lone corgi barking. Before that it was the smell of burnt toast. Today, I've got a hunch, it's the colour purple." They walked on, the only sounds the chirping of unseen birds and the gentle lapping of the lake against the shore. Suddenly, Michael stopped, his eyes fixed on something in the distance. Mackie followed his gaze. A small purple kite snagged on a thorny bush near a cluster of jagged rocks. "Well, I'll be," Michael muttered, a strange glint in his eye. "A purple kite, what are the chances?" As they approached, Mackie noticed something else. Nestled amongst the rocks, partially hidden by a thicket, was a small, ornate wooden box. "Grandpa, look!" His easygoing demeanour vanished. He moved quickly, his hand covering the box. "Don't touch that, Mackie." "Not yet." He examined it carefully, his brow furrowed in concentration. It's a puzzle box, and a very old one, by the looks of it." Just then, a figure emerged from the shadowy mouth of a nearby cave. A tall, gaunt woman, her face etched with a mix of desperation and relief. She had a long purple scarf wrapped around her neck. She spotted them, and her eyes widened, fixed on the box in Michael's hand. "That's mine!" she rasped, her voice hoarse. "Please, give it back!" Michael, ever the gentleman, held up a calming hand. "Easy, miss. We just found it. Is it important?" "More than you know," she replied, her eyes darting nervously towards the lake. "It's a key." Before she could explain further, a low guttural rumble echoed from the depths of the lake, sending shivers down Mackie's spine. The water began to churn, and a massive, dark shape, far larger than any fish, began to rise. The woman gasped, her face paling. "No, it's too early! The pattern's broken!" Michael's eyes, however, seemed to gleam with a strange understanding. "Broken, you say? Or re-established?" He looked at the purple kite, then at the woman's scarf, and the fear... The colour purple. The monster, a serpentine beast with ancient wise eyes, broke the surface, its scales glinting in the faint morning light. It was indeed reminiscent of Nessie, but with a more primordial, almost draconic feel. It fixed its gaze, not on them, but on the purple kite. Then, to Mackie's astonishment, it let out a low, mournful moan and slowly, majestically, began to sink back beneath the waves. The woman slumped against the rocks, relief washing over her. It worked. The distraction? "Distraction?" Michael said, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "Or a confirmation of a very specific and meticulously planned set of events." He turned the puzzle box over in his hands. "This key, as you call it, it's not for a lock, is it?" The woman hesitated, then sighed. "It's a data chip containing schematics for a revolutionary new energy source powered by the unique properties of the Lini Fanfach lakebed. My company, Hydrogenesis, has been trying to access it for months. The legend of the beast was a ruse, a sophisticated holographic projection system designed to keep people away. The patterns and fears were simply variables in an algorithm, a way to test the system's responsiveness and create a sense of randomness. Mackie's jaw dropped. So, the monster isn't real? The monster is very real, young man, Michael interjected, a twinkle in his eye as he gave the woman a pointed look. Just not in the way you were led to believe. He looked at the puzzle box, then back at the woman. You see, for months I've been noticing inconsistencies. The random fears always seem to coincide with a new prototype of your holographic projectors being tested. The patterns were too complex, too perfect for a natural creature. The woman stared at him, bewildered. How did you know? I've got a nose for these things, Michael said simply, and a 5-year-old grandson who keeps me on my toes. Every time I'd tell him a new fear or a new pattern, he'd unknowingly provide me with a data point. When you mentioned the purple kite and then your scarf, the algorithm clicked into place. He opened the puzzle box with surprising ease, revealing the small data chip. This isn't just about energy, is it? Michael said, his voice dropping slightly. This is about controlling something far more significant. The woman paled. It's a geological stabilizer. The lake bed is unstable. If left unchecked, the tremors could, well, let's just say a lot of Welsh valleys would be getting a new water feature. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Not a faint tremor, but a distinct, unsettling vibration. The beast emerged from the water again, this time its holographic form flickering erratically. The system's failing, the woman cried. Without that chip, the stabilizers will overload. Ah, Michael said, a glint of triumph in his eye. But you see, I already have a better solution. He pulled a small, unassuming USB stick from his own pocket. While you were busy perfecting your monster and its random fears, I was busy perfecting my own. This, my dear, is an override. It won't just stabilize the lake bed. It'll tap into the true, natural geothermal energy beneath it, without the need for your disruptive technology. He handed the USB stick to the stunned woman. You're going to use this, and then you're going to explain everything to the authorities. Mackie and we've had our fun. Now it's time for some real solutions. Mackie, though still a little confused about the science, felt a surge of pride for his grandpa. The monster might not be real, but the adventure certainly was. As the woman, still reeling, began to follow Michael's instructions, another figure emerged from the cave. This time it was Mackie's mum and dad, rubbing the sleep from their eyes. Mackie! Michael! What on earth are you two up to? His mum yawned. It's barely 7:30. Michael winked at Mackie. Just an early morning stroll, love. Nothing to worry about. Just a bit of local folklore. Mackie grinned. A new secret shared with his street-smart grandpa. The Linny Fanfash beast might have been a hologram, but the magic of Michael's stories and the cleverness of his heart were as real as the Welsh mist itself. And as for the true monster in the lake, the one that held the Earth's raw power, well, that was a secret he and his grandpa would keep. For now.